Dita makes enough trouble by herself. Even Terry admits that. And the girl is her niece. If Cass marries Dita, your father will never speak to him again. Mom, that's just old country nonsense, like believing in the evil eye. Cass and I aren't going to carry on your crazy feud with Zeus. And we're 25 years old. You have to let Cass make his own decisions. Who says? Answers Lydia, adding a sudden chuckle and a squeeze of Paul's bicep to lighten the mood. That is their mother's idea of wit, laughing when she says something she means. At the top of the hill, the picnic is a sensory barrage. The gums and spices still smoking in the censers after a brief religious service mingle with the aromas of 4 whole lambs roasting over oak, while the frenetic, high-pitched music of a bouzouki band lances the air to welcome the hundreds of guests crowding onto the lawn. Terry, Zeus's sister, their mother's best friend since Lydia and Terry were both 7 years old, awaits them with her scarecrow mop of dyed yellow hair. She embraces Paul and his mother. Zeus's son Hal is beside Terry, greeting the guests. At 40, Hal is fat and awkward and overeager, the kind of person who always approaches you in the pathetic, hapless manner of a slobbering dog. Even so, Paul retains a soft spot for Hal, whom Cass and he used to follow around like puppies 20 years ago. In the days before a quarrel about the lease on Paul's father's grocery divided their families. Like Paul, Hal seems willing to ignore all that. He hugs Paul's mother, whom he still calls Auntie Lydia, and chats idly with Paul before Terry leads Lydia away. A covey of their friends awaits them in the deep shade of one of the many blue and white striped tents pitched across the lawn. Reluctantly, Paul heads into this jumble of people from his childhood, whose old-world ways and ponderous expectations he's always longed to escape. A few paces in, his girlfriend, Georgia Lazopoulos, catches sight of him and starts forward with her adoring grin. In her blue gingham sundress, Georgia is short and curvy and cutely dimpled. People always mention Sally Field. Although they have dated since their senior year in high school, their lips barely brush when they reach each other. Georgia is the daughter of Father Nick, St. D's priest, and realizes she is under constant observation on occasions like this. She has already prepared Paul a paper plate of lamb and pasticcio, both favorites which he accepts with thanks, but he steps away from her for a second to look for Cass. Paul finally spies his twin amid a clutch of people from high school. Even at 100 feet, Paul knows he can catch Cass's eye, and when he does, he hitches his chin slightly so Cass is aware of their mother's location. They have resolved to keep watch and intervene if Lydia comes near Dita. She is unlikely to approach Dita's parents, to whom she has not spoken in years. Privately, Paul shares most of his mother's opinions about Dita, but he feels Cass's fierce need for autonomy and has always treated his brother's desires as synonymous with his own. Despite their parents' furious opposition, Dita, with her caustic tongue and daring manner, seems to delight Cass far more than any prior woman. Other people, normal people, don't really understand what it is to grow up not fully knowing where you start and your brother ends. For Paul, humans fall into 2 classes: Cass and everybody else. Even their mother, a titanic force who has always loomed over them with the strength and unbending will of a marble column, does not stand in the same realm of emotional proximity. Therefore, it has been one of the most surprising challenges of Paul Giannis's life that his brother and he began to become so different in college. Cass partied too much and openly resisted their parents. After graduation, Paul went on to law school, while Cass drifted until successfully applying to the Kindle County Police Academy, where he will start next week. As Paul turns back to where he left Georgia, his legs tangle with someone behind him, and he is suddenly on the way down, arms